Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Wisdom Wednesday. My name is Kristen Gear, and I am the Director of Operations for BNI Arizona. And every single week, I come to you providing a weekly education nugget called Wisdom Wednesday that counts as one chapter education unit for watching. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's edition. Hopefully, once you're done watching this, you will go right into the app and log that chapter education unit, guys. So I'm looking at the power of one, and there's too many gray areas in that chapter education unit column, guys. So make sure that you're sharing this with your chapter members. This is by far the easiest chapter education unit that you can get every single week, because it's the only one that is less than an hour that counts as one chapter education unit. So please make sure that you're sharing this easy chapter education unit with your fellow members, and make sure that they log it. It doesn't log automatically. You have to log into the app to log it. So hopefully you all are having an amazing Wednesday. I visited 3 incredible chapters today. Rockstars this morning online, then Vipers. Just finished up Power Professionals out in Queen Creek. So all over the valley today. It was amazing. As you guys know, we're in nomination time right now. I did send out the nomination link on Monday, guys. So that was the email that I sent out on Monday. I know that you all get them, but I also know that you all don't open my emails. So please make sure to open the email from Monday. Respond by clicking the link for the nomination form so that way you can fill out the information. Your feedback is extremely important for your current leadership teams. Extremely important. Even if you're newer to the chapter, your feedback definitely helps. Whether you know someone who would make a great leader or not. I did put in the email that if you are unsure, you can put that you're unsure in the nomination form. But if you are unsure as far as who to nominate for the leadership roles, selecting the roles that you would personally be interested in is going to be extremely helpful for your leadership team. Because, guys, if you tell us where you want to support the chapter in, it will be easier to put you in a role that you want to be in. If you don't respond, you know what that says? It just says that you're willing to do anything in the chapter. So if you let us know what you want to do, it's much easier than to say, hey, we didn't receive a form for you, so here is your role. If you don't submit a form, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a role in your chapter. It really does take the entire chapter to create success for the chapter, to keep moving things forward. The more people involved, the less is involved for one specific person. So it really is important that we get as many members, if not all of the members of every chapter, involved in some way, shape, or form. There's so many different roles and different things that members can be involved in, and all of these different roles will help with your visibility, credibility, which will lead to even more bigger and better profitability. Now, today's session, I wanted to really talk about the most important roles that are on that nomination sheet, which is president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and the membership committee. Those 4 key roles, guys, are so important for your chapter. It's important that you take these positions very seriously, because when you're in a leadership role, you have higher expectations, higher visibility for your chapter. It is a huge responsibility to be in one of those roles. And this is why I included membership committee in the mix, because membership committee and vice president, they're the eyes and the ears of the chapter. That membership committee and the vice president as a team, they're the ones that help vet all of the new people, making sure that we have quality people in the chapter. If you don't have a great membership committee and they're just accepting anybody and everyone to come in your chapter, that's not going to help with the long-term success of your chapter. So you want to always make sure that the people on the membership committee are going to take it seriously of bringing in quality members into your chapter, but also making sure to hold everyone accountable. Accountability is one of BNI's core values, and if you don't have the accountability, you're going to notice that the chapter's not going to be great. It may be a good chapter, but if you want a great chapter, that leadership and membership committee, it's got to be firing on all cylinders, guys. So if you are nominated for one of these amazing roles, take it as a really great honor that you are nominated for one of these roles. Now, the president role, I would say, has the most visibility inside the chapter meeting because they're facilitating the meeting, making sure the meeting starts and ends on time. They gotta bring the energy. So when you're nominating someone as president, one of the things that you want to keep in mind is, how is their energy in the meeting? Would you want to listen to this person for an entire meeting? And are they going to bring it every single week? It really is important, because I've been in the president position, and sometimes you have days where you are just like, man, I don't have the energy today. But when you walk into that room, you have got to have all of the energy, because everyone is relying on you to bring it every single week. So taking these responsibilities seriously is super, super important. So president, they are one of the biggest visibility pieces. They gotta bring the energy. I would say that role is the energy maker, is the president. Now, vice president is the lead over the membership committee. Those two partnerships, and it's one of my favorite roles. Vice president is my favorite role. If you are someone that really values the quality of who's in your chapter, wants to know all the ins and outs behind the scenes. Now, I will tell you, membership committee out of all of them probably has the most responsibility out of all of them. And it's a lot of work behind the scenes for membership committee. A lot of times we say leadership team is a lot of work, but it really falls a lot on the membership committee because they have so many moving parts, and it's a lot to make sure that the chapter is successful moving forward. So we want to make sure that we have quality people in these roles. Now, as we're picking these new leadership team members, who picks them is the current leadership team with the support of the chapter director. So as a team, we're really evaluating, interviewing people. Now, with these nomination forms, they're not votes, so providing that feedback is super valuable. So the leadership team will interview those who have the most nominations. They'll also interview who have self-nominated themselves. But also, if there are some members in the chapter that have really shown themselves as a valuable member of the chapter and have the potential to be a great leader, hey, we can interview those people as well. So there's multiple aspects to this nomination process that I really wanted to make sure everyone understands all of the things that happen behind the scenes when we're picking and really evaluating those leaders of who can take over that next term for the chapter. It's not just willy-nilly placing people in random roles. It does take a lot of thought and configuration on the back end to make sure that we have the right people in the right spots. Because not only do we want to make sure that they take the role seriously, but making sure that they have the time for the role and that they have the right personality and traits for each of the roles. Like, vice president needs to be super organized and even level-headed as well. Even membership committee should make sure that they are, because we have policies and procedures in BNI, but we also have to have the human aspect to things. So when you're in those roles, you have to have that flexibility. And then secretary treasurer, really helping members shine for their feature presentations, getting everything lined up, because having that feature presentation is a really big deal. Some of our chapters, those members only have one time per year to give their presentation. And so making sure that the members feel valued when giving their feature presentation is huge. So each of those leadership positions and the membership committee are extremely important to a chapter. So when you are nominating leaders for your own chapter, make sure that you're keeping some of this stuff in mind. Now, if you've already submitted your nomination form and you're like, oh man, I didn't think about all of these different things, I want to change my nomination, just email me. Or if you submit a new nomination form, I will delete the old one. Let's just keep it simple like that. You don't have to email me to change things. You can just submit a new nomination form before the deadline, and I will erase the old one and keep the newer version, just to make it super simple. But again, guys, I want to make sure that as many people as possible fill that out, because it really does make the process a whole lot easier on the back end when we know exactly what roles that you are passionate in, because we don't love just sticking members in places. We want to know where you would best support the chapter and what your strengths are for each of those roles. So that's why we start this time of year, because it does take a lot of time behind the scenes to really evaluate all of the entries and interviews and making sure that we make the right decision, because having someone that isn't great in a leadership position could make or break a chapter. Because one, we got to pick the right people. Then two, we got to make sure that all of those people collaborate well together. And then three, making sure that the membership committee and vice president are a great team as well, because that communication is key. Communication between the leadership team is key to create a cohesive chapter, and then communication between vice president and membership committee is extremely important as far as timing, processing, all of that fun stuff within the chapter. So if you have any questions about any of those positions or what's entailed, again, I did include an attachment that has some of the attributes and skills for each of the roles and the responsibilities. So I would highly recommend, if you're unfamiliar with what the roles are, read through that sheet, and if you have questions or something is confusing, reach out to me so that way I can help with the process and make sure that you make the best choice, because a lot of times with just talking through things, maybe what you're looking for might actually be a different role. There's been lots of situations to where someone was like, hey, I want to be president because I want to make sure everyone's held accountable. I want to make sure all of these things. But as they were talking, that's actually what the VP does versus what the president does, because the president doesn't hold people accountable, the VP does. So there's lots of different aspects to each of the roles that, depending on what you're the most passionate in, maybe one role or a different role. So if you're unsure kind of where you want to be in your chapter, you can surely reach out to me. You can also reach out to your chapter's director. We are always here to help support you guys, make sure that you're making the right decision. Now, all of these changes do not take place until October 1st. It gives the leadership teams enough time to have the right people in place, make sure everyone gets through training, and to allow enough time for everyone to shadow the people that are currently in the roles to make an easy and smooth transition come October 1st. So I'm really excited. This is one of the great times throughout the year where everyone gets retrained and learns a whole bunch of information. So if you have any questions, we will be doing a lot of the training through BNI Business Builder this year. They have revamped the information in Business Builder, and so it is amazing. And then we'll have some other videos from our directors of best practices and tips for each of the roles, so that way you're learning from the best of the best to help create even more success for the upcoming year. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's edition of Wisdom Wednesday. Go fill out those nomination forms, guys, and also remember to go log one chapter education unit for watching. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.